Welcome back to OpenLine. We are talking with Dr. Larry Burriss, MTSU Journalism professor, about the state of media, the state of journalism today, and a lot of calls. So let's go to Taylor. Hello, Taylor.
Good evening, and appreciate the show.
Thank you.
I voted for Donald Trump, not because I was in love with Donald Trump or anything about him, but I liked his programs. I still like his programs, and I'd like to take exception with the good professor on the media being balanced. If, for instance, every day, papers like the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Boston Globe, NBC, CBS, ABC, CNN, and MSNBC, every story is slanted against the president. And if Fox is a counter to that much opposite publicity, then something is really wrong here. Yes, they do favor Trump, but they and the Washington Times and a few obscure websites are the only ones that give the fella a break at all. And that's why, a portion of why newspapers are dying. They are dying faster, laying off employees, even the biggest.
Right.
The foreign press picks up all of their news from the Washington Post, New York Times, the old gray lady, and so anti-Trump publicity goes out across the world.
All right, well, I appreciate that. I do, Taylor, and I think there are people that feel that way. So you earlier said, oh, it's pretty balanced because you have Fox News that is certainly supportive of the agenda in many ways, but now he's mentioning all these others and saying, no, there is a constant stream of negative coverage.
Okay.
So what about that?
What if the news in the New York Times and Washington Post, what if that news is the truth? What if it's really true what they're saying? Then they need to be saying that. And again, partisan politics is a great thing. We get all the sides out there, and apparently the people who are criticizing the mainstream media, they must be getting their information from somewhere. How do they know that that story in the New York Times is wrong? How do they know that? Now, again, if it's anti-Trump, just because it's opposed to his policy, does that make them anti-Donald Trump or anti-policy? And again, if we're saying, well, that story is wrong, how do you know that?
And it could be from Donald Trump, from his Twitter feed, saying this is fake news, they're out to get me, they're trying to rewrite the election, you know, and all of that. It could be that. And I think that is a fair question. What if what is being reported is true? And that is where we can't come to an agreement on what a fact is.
Right.
And that's what's scary to me.
And in terms of the president, there have been perhaps some minor things that have been blown out of proportion that he has said is just wrong. And we go to something as simple as the number of people at the inauguration. Okay? The numbers that he's claiming just flat weren't there. And if he's going to get so upset about that, which is really a nothing sort of thing to deal with, what else is he getting upset about that is the truth?
And so what is the media's job? The media's job, is it to push back on that or to acquiesce? I mean, because we do get this. We get people saying, give him a chance, stop being so negative. But then he'll give a speech and there are provably, in some cases, false things. Right. And so what needs to be done?
We need to continue to report those false things, and we also need to report the good things. If the president has a policy that is a success, that needs to be reported. And I think they are reported. It's just how many of those things are a success. And we have all the promises the president made, and without getting into the politics of all this, where's health care now? Where's the wall now? All this now, they haven't gotten through Congress. Is that Congress's fault, or is it a leadership at the highest level fault? He promised these things. He said he was going to get them done. He's not getting them done, and that is a problem.
It's a fair thing to point out. But okay, all right. Let's go to Jeanne. Hello, Jeanne.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Well, gentlemen, I just want to say this. Kudos to Channel 5. I listened to a story several months back, and it was, the approach was absolutely wrong. And I sent an email, and to your credit, your anchor at the time sent me an email back and agreed with me and thanked me for that letter. So I appreciate Channel 5 doing that. But let me say real quickly, from the aspect of someone that was in broadcasting many, many years ago. I was in radio broadcasting here in the Middle Tennessee area, worked with some fantastic, talented people, great newsmen that I know today. There is no comparison between the newsmen that I worked with and the newsmen today that I see on the television, because no matter the opinions that we had, and there were varied opinions, and most of the guys that I worked with are very much of the liberal side, and yet when they were on the air, they gave the news, period. Today, I'm sorry, it is just not that way, and it's very disappointing, especially to watch how it is so pointed and is causing such a division in this country because of the way that the media turns and twists and pushes people in a particular direction. Thanks so much.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you for that call. And I know there are a lot of people that feel that way. And I think you watch certain channels, I think that's true. And you watch, yeah, there's no doubt. What he's saying is right, and there's frustration about it. Where do we go? What do we do about it? Where are we with that?
Part of it is, I think, the entire society, the entire culture. Everything is so split. Everything is so, I'm right, you're wrong. And we harden our positions, and just once I'd like to see on one of the major network programs, I'd like to see during a debate somebody say, you know, you may be right. I hadn't thought about that. That's a good idea. That is not going to happen. Isn't going to happen, because I've got my credibility, and I've made a name for myself playing real hardball, and I've got to continue to do that. And I think society overall has gotten into that position. I think we've hardened our positions out there. Everybody has to be a winner, and that gets into some other issues out there.
Right.
But everybody has to be a winner, and we can't insult anybody, and we got to build everybody up, pat everybody on the head, even when they may be wrong, and that's then reflected in the media culture.
How would Walter Cronkite do today? I just throw that out there. All right, we'll take a break, come back, wrap everything up. Be back right after this.